Hi, my name is Shayna Bayo, and I will be presenting about extending classes and dynamic polymorphism binding. In this particular case, I created three classes. One, I created the parent class called plane and a child class called commercial plane, which shows an is-a relationship. Commercial plane is a plane. And then I also created an interface called flyable, and I made it so that the plane implements that interface. I also made the plane an abstract class. So now I'll be showing you my example code. So in the example code, on the left is my parent class, plane, and my child class, commercial plane. The parent class shows inheritance. It would have variables or methods that the child class would inherit. For this particular instance, I made it also an abstract class, so some of its methods would be overridden by the commercial plane. It's an abstract class because it has abstract methods in here. Abstract get tel number and abstract set tel number. They do not have any body to their methods. Instead, it just has the header only. And because it's an abstract class, that means that its child classes have to also have the exact same methods there, which is right here. They have to have the exact same names as those methods, and they override them right here, and you have to type in et override. Also, for the child class, it has to use the word extends plane. It has to use the word extends to show that it is inheriting the parent classes. So I will also show how this works. Oh, no, first I will show also why we use the word super, which is a keyword. The super word, it refers to the parent class. We use super because it kind of helps to distinguish between the super class and the parent class, especially because you're using the same names a lot of the times. Like I use tel number for both the parent class and the child class. So you don't want to get confused between which one it is. So when you say super, you're referring to the parent class. So now I'll show you how this works in my demonstration right here. I created an object, a commercial plane object that has this parent's type. And when you print it out, I wrote in each of the methods so that you could know what's going on. This basically shows that the parent constructor was called first, then the child constructor was called, and then it chose to use the child class's method and the get tel number method. This is an example of dynamic binding because during runtime, it's making the decision on which methods to use during runtime. And it overrode the child class overrode the parent class's method, and that was what was called up, was the child class method instead of the parent class. If we didn't have the word override, if we didn't have that, then it would have chosen to use the parent class's method instead. Okay, and now I will give an example of, I will show you my interface method. It's public interface flyable. You have to type in interface, and you can't have anything else but the header. Right here, for example, is get altitude because it's showing a method that can be implemented by the plane. And that's another thing. When you're using the interface, the class that's implementing it has to use the word implements and then the name of the interface. So now I'll give you a demonstration of that. Let me comment this out and then show you an example of how to use the interface. You use the interface name and you create an object, plane 3, right here, and then when you run it, in the same way as the last one, this one would also call the parent constructor, then the child constructor, and then it's showing that it's implementing the flyable get altitude method right here. And that is an example of my demonstration. Thank you.